So there's this title called Dungeon Fighter Online, and apparently it's one of the most played and highest grossing titles since August of 2005. It's developed by Neopol and it's a subsidiary of the Korean publisher known as Nexon. And I still can't believe these statistics because it's got over 700 million players and got a whopping $15 billion in the kitty. So if you're disappointed in yourself that you actually haven't played it up until now, I've got some great news, because with all that cash in the kitty, Nexon have decided that they're going to carry on with the IP and they've got all sorts of goodies coming out. So the one that I'm really excited about the most is one with the most extraordinary of names. It's called Project BBQ. And don't worry, it's not a Texan meat cooking simulator, it's actually a very flashy looking MMORPG. So when it was announced on Christmas Day a few years ago, this was all the information that we originally knew. It's a third-person action RPG dungeon fighting online game, and the game basically works around having fast, silky smooth, awesome action combat. It's being currently developed in Unreal 4, not Unreal 5, and it's kind of got that 3D cel-shaded look that we've seen in Genshin Impact. If you played Dungeon Fighter previously, you'll know that it kind of worked in a similar sort of fashion as the original Phantasy Stars, where you had a primary hub and then you went off and did various dungeons. Nexon are stepping away from that and now making a seamless world, so it'll be feeling really large, open, and there'll be no kind of like walls or anything, no loading screens, but they did say that there will be instance dungeons. There are also lots of classes, and I mean lots. On the launch they're planning to release 8 different classes, but in terms of release, and this is what we're going to be talking about today, there isn't actually a date at the moment. And also, just to give you even more scary details, I don't know if it is actually coming out to a Western audience either. Anyway, the reason why everyone is talking about this game again is because it was Nexon's third quarter financials, and with that came various details about lots of different titles. The ones that they mentioned, and we'll go into these for a different video, were Dungeon Fighter Mobile, Project ER, Project Magnum, Project HP, Dungeon Fighter Duel, Dungeon Fighter Overkill, and lastly, Project BBQ. Now, that's pretty much it in terms of Project BBQ news. I'm not going to elaborate and drag it on. That is pretty much it. It's just to tell you that it's still going on. There was, however, some other interesting news that came out of it. For example, Nexon have announced that there's a new Embark studio in Sweden, and they're working on 3 brand new projects, which is pretty cool. 2 of these are these new virtual worlds, which we don't know too much about, and the other one is a creative platform, and they go by the name of Pioneer and Discovery. But in other interesting but could be not so interesting news, so in total, North America and Europe combined make up 6% of the revenue for Nexon. But the biggest one for me, and I've always associated Nexon with kind of like those mobile store games, but apparently 75% of total revenue actually came from PC games. Now, I must admit I'm completely ignorant on really what the rest of Nexon's IP products are. They must investigate it, because, you know, if they're making that much money on just PC games alone, then there must be surely some good ones out there. Anyway, but that's it pretty much for the update. There are tons and tons of new games on the way from Nexon. To name a few that I'm interested in, we've got Overkill, Magnum, and Project ER, and also an additional another 12 which I haven't named, but we'll get into those as more details get released. Anyway, everyone, have a great week. I'll be back with more news and reviews when I have more information, but until then, stay healthy and stay safe and have a great day.